Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the second part of the 5G Hints webinar. Today, we're here, as per last time, for those who join with our consortium partner, Gabriele Incerti ad Alessio Mattioni for RINA, Carla Matetti and Riccardo Campana for CNIT. We have Stefano Perticaroli and Abdallah Sheikh for RAME. And I'm here for GNUS, together with my team, Giulia Catella and Biagio Chieco. So welcome again and thank you for joining. I would start with a very brief introduction of the consortium partner. So I would start from Lina, the consortium leader. Rina is a global corporation providing engineering and consultancy servicing, but also testing, inspection, and certification, and is leading the development of this project. Within Rina Consulting, it's the industry business unit that contributes to the space development with technical solution, especially in response to a wide range of space infrastructure needs. For CNIT, as mentioned, we have Carla and Riccardo. So CNIT is the National Inter-University Consortium for Telecommunication, and it's a non-profit consortium of 37 major Italian universities. Its mission is to carry out research activity, but also foster technology transfer and provide coordination and networking support among members. The range of competencies range from electromagnetism, transmission, and networking. They have more than 600 affiliate members from university and more than 50 research and administrative employees. With regards to RAME, so RAME, it's an Italian company as well, and it's devoted to promote and to assist research development for technology transfer, either in private enterprises, but also in public research entities. Provide end-to-end IC design services to design houses, electronics, and semiconductor system company, equipment manufacturers, and service providers. It is established in 2014 in Rome, and it offers design planning stage, specification development, and architecture exploration, along with verification to system modeling and test branch development. With regards to GNUS, GNUS is an Italian company as well, and it's based in Bari. It's a company skilled in deep tech and space economy. We implement innovation program and we activate technology transfer along with market intelligence, startup ecosystem programs, and we offer technology integration services. Within GNUS, we have a in-house tech lab that is focused on artificial intelligence, but also collaborative robotic and satellite data. Without further ado, I would leave the floor to Gabriele and Alessio to start with delving into the 5 remaining call of the 10 already published on the 5G Hints website.
Thank you, Julia. Welcome to everyone. I'm Gabriele Incerti from RINA Consulting Group. And today I bridge Frank Zeppefen from HISA because he will join us later due to technical issues. And I will provide you a general introduction of 5G Hints project. And then I will leave the floor to my colleague to talk about the general instruction and technical aspects of 5G Hints project. So please, you can go ahead. Okay, so starting from the preliminary analysis from the consortium, we studied in general the non-terrestrial network, 5G non-terrestrial network topics in terms of ESA project, European project from Commission European, for example, Horizon 2020 projects, and national projects. In this term, we found some kind of technical topics, the latest new about from this kind of project, and we are collect all this kind of project to get in mind something of new to put on the table. Starting from this, the consortium promote and soliciting this kind of project and creating a framework in which collect all this information. So later we with the help of Genius, we create a 5G website in which the bidders can find, for example, the template to use to publish the codes, the general instruction to participate to this kind of code, and the list, obviously, the list of the code, the demonstration code we provide to the technical community. And I will provide you a bit more about the you need to, for example, to sign up in the website in advance to able to get all the information and to take the general instruction and the template to participate in the 5D project. So this is a general overview of the 5D project. And now I will leave the floor to my colleague just to have a general view and further more information about the technical topics. So Alessio, the room is yours.
Thank you very much, Gabriele. And 5Genes project represents an hub in which we will provide a flexible framework to solicit the execution of demonstration calls on typical topics relating to technology enablers for 5G and the new radio over non-terrestrial network. The demonstration calls are selected through a bidding process in which all people interested from industry, academic, and so on can participate and present their proposal, considering several demonstration topics that we have selected together with all the partners of the consortium and with the supervision of ESA. The selected proposal will access to the demonstration phase that will be provided to contract change notice to the main 5Genes project. And the consortium is led by RINA Consulting, which is responsible of the management of the project and supervise all the framework and will be the contact with the bidders that will be selected. The contact, I mean, that when contract change notice will be established, there will be subcontract with the selected bid. And the consortium is formed by CNIT, which has been in charge of selecting the demonstration topics, leading the selection of the demonstration topics that has been selected actually with all the consortium. GNews is the leader of the dissemination and public relation activities. Instead, Rame is responsible of integration and engineering support. As described before, the consortium selected a set of demonstration calls that are fully described in the 5Genes website. And through the 5Genes website, it's possible to submit your proposals. You will find all the instructions and the templates to participate to the proposals. The templates in some way recalls typical ESA's ITT templates, but are more flexible and let's say shorter than typical ITT visa. So This means that you will present a very short proposal of about 5-6 pages describing your ideas to answer to the demonstration topics, some essential implementation aspects, and provide PSS templates. For all the activities, ESA established a total budget of 1.5 million euros that will be distributed over all the demonstration topics and demonstration calls. This means that we have considered that for each demonstration calls, we will admit budgets in the range between 50,000 euros and 150,000 euros. And the selected proposal will proceed with the demonstration phase that will last about 2-3 months. This means that this activity is proposed to industries and academics which in some way has some developments on the demonstration topics and would like to demonstrate them through this framework. Of course, it's possible to consider some development, but considering the few time and the relative few budget, developments to be implemented through these demonstration topics shall be reduced to the essential. And if you need for your proposal to purchase some small item, for example, SDRs, antennas, stuff like that, it's possible to accede to a reserved budget. The so-called small item procurements is a total budget of 30,000 euros that will be distributed over all the demonstration topics. So we consider that each demonstration topic could access to about 2,000-3,000 euros of this total budget. For the execution of the demonstration calls, 5G Hints can make available some items. There is a common infrastructure that is composed by 2 SDRs. They are 2 Aptus B200s that has their own nukes, the workstation to manage their functionalities, and they can run the open-air interface 5G code. And for each technical support you may need for understand this common infrastructure and understand if you need a part of all this infrastructure for your development, you can get in contact with us. In the same way, you can get in contact with us for any question you may have about the framework, the preparation of the proposal, and other information about the instruction you can find in the website. An important things to take in consideration is that the budget can be released only through the authorization of the national delegation. This means that in the early phase of your proposal demonstration, you shall get in contact with your national delegation drafting a letter of support. To prepare the letter of support, the Consortium of 5G Hints is available. If you shall need some specific information regarding this project, or in any case, if you not practice with the procedure of submission of the letter of support, in this case, you can get in contact with us and we will provide you support to prepare the letter And as I said, we have identified a set of demonstration topics in the first webinar that held the 23rd of June. We have described part of them, and today we will go on with the remaining demonstration topics that are the one you can see with bold characters. And let's go in detail with the demonstration tools. The first one is about 5G non-terrestrial network backhauling. For this, I leave the floor to Rame.
Okay, thank you, Alessio. So I take the floor for going into the description of this first topic that is related to 5G terrestrial network backhauling. Well, generally speaking, we know that backhauling means to intermediate links between the core network and the backbone networks, and in particular related to small subnetworks usually at the edge of the entire network. And backhaul connection are typically high capacity network links designed to support high speed data traffic. They can be realized using different type of technology. In this case, we are interested into the satellite links. The lack of connectivity for, in particular, rural areas can be resolved, in example, by the adoption of backhauling. So I think that this is one of the interests of this topic. So satellite-based backhaul is fundamental to provide connectivity in cases where the terrestrial backhaul is unavailable or for some specific economical limitation. The GPP has renewed its interest in the use of this latest release 18 that is still under development. Into this topic, there are 4 objectives. One is the analysis of the benefit coming from the integration of the access and the backhauling, including use cases, identification and design of testbed structure with an expected TRL of 3, the demonstration of feasibility of 5G backhauling through an example commercial LEO satellite services like the Starlink constellation, and the expected TRL in this case is 5. Or in general, the demonstration of feasibility of 5G backhauling through a combination of GEO or LEO satellites, but also high altitude platform system equipped with software defined GNP. The expected TRL in this case is 4. And finally, also the validation of 5G backhauling with a quality of service mapping between the core network and the GNP, investigating both GEO and LEO backhaul, and the LEO backhaul with potentially inter-satellite links. In this case, the expected TRL level is 3. And okay, the output deliverables are the implementation plan first, and then prototype, live demonstration, and finally comprehensive documentation for the component building and for the explication of the text execution. Okay, so I think we can move to next topic.
Okay. For next topic, I leave the floor to Clint.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Riccardo Campana, and I work in CNIT together with my colleague Carla Matetti. We are in the research unit of University of Bologna. This topic is titled 5G NTN packet-based fronthaul solution for regenerative payload. Indeed, in the 5G RAN, you know that there are 8 different possible kind of splits. So the RAN can be disaggregated in different blocks that can be the central unit, the distribute unit, and the radio unit. And all the different functions of the RAN can be divided in these 3 blocks. The interface between the distribute unit and the radio unit is the fronthaul. So this topic is has the objective to test this front haul in an NTN environment. So going into the details, what we imagined was to test the split 8, the option 8 of the functional split, where the centralized unit is implemented in a virtual cloud, and the IQ packets of this front haul are delivered through an AP connection to the satellite. Obviously, this satellite radio interface is a logic connection that is meant to deliver these packets and can be implemented through different protocols, for example, a CPRI or Vita49. So in this architecture, we have the central unit implemented in a virtual cloud, for example, AWS, Azure, or something else. The packets are delivered through the IP connection to our lab testbed, where there is an SDR that converts these IQ samples in RF. We have a satellite channel emulator and a receiving device implemented through an SDR based on open-air interface. So what are the output deliverables? At the end of this topic, of this project, we need an implementation plan, a prototype, if the bidder is proposed the prototype, a live demonstration, and the technical notes on the findings. So for the next topic, I hand over to my colleague Carla.
Okay, I actually think that this one is
Okay.
on us arena, but no problem. Okay, and this course is about the deployment of 5G non-terrestrial network through commercial cloud services. This considers the possibility to exploit commercial cloud services as, for example, Amazon Web Services, Ground Station, or Microsoft Azure Orbital that offer ground station services for communication over LEO and MEO satellites. In this case, the 5G waveform are provided to the ground station through the Vita49 connection and are analog converted and transmitted to the selected satellite, which retransmit the 5G waveform to the ground when it's received by terminals implementing VSAT. And the objective of these demonstration topics is to implement a core network and a GNOT-B to this virtual private cloud, exploiting the open-air interface code. And to reach this objective, of course, there will be a phase in which shall be selected the ground station facilities from the ones available from these commercial services. And the selection shall be assessed considering location, the satellite to be contacted, and the payload. For example, this should be transparent or regenerative, time slot, frequency, bandwidth availability, and other characteristics like this. And the other objective is the implementation of a terminal based on SDR and on the open-air interface. The output deliverables are an implementation plan, the satellite segment provisioning, the contact setup with the commercial clouds, the deployment of GNOT-B and eventual necessary network functions through the commercial services, the deployment of the terminal, the demonstration of the end-to-end communication and technical note with the reports on the findings. With this demonstration course, I've concluded and leave the floor to Knut again for the next one.
Thank you, Alessio. So I'm Carla Mattetti from CNIT research within the research unit of the University of Bologna. So in this fifth demonstration call, we have the assessment and the validation of the handover procedure over non-terrestrial networks. Indeed, as we know that there are differences between the handover in the terrestrial network and in the non-terrestrial ones. In particular, so in terrestrial networks, as in NTN, the handover procedure needs to guarantee a service continuity when the user equipment moves between the coverage area of different cells. And in the terrestrial networks, usually it's up to the network to make the decision of handover and to form the user equipment through the appropriate command. In NTN, so they receive the signal at the center of the cell, and that at the edge can be limited to a few dB. Therefore, so different techniques need to be considered. For example, the satellite trajectory to be known by the user equipment. In antenna, we have also the problem that if the user equipment is fixed, then the satellite is moving, so the handover is need to be performed. Therefore, different cases, different scenarios are possible, as you can see here in the slide. For example, we have the user equipment switching from a different G-Node-B distributed unit served by the same multi-beam antenna satellite, or we can have a fixed user equipment on ground. And then we have two different regenerative satellites, each one that has his own G-Node-B, or then we have also to consider the feeder link that switches between two different gateways. For this reason, in this demonstration call, there are two main objectives. One that is related to the handover, and one to the feeder link, the switch of the feeder link. In particular, so we have that one of the objectives is to identify and invalidate one of the provided solution for the handover procedure, which should be performed after the satellite movement emulation triggers. And then we have the same, but for the feeder link, the switch of the feeder link. As deliverable and output, we expect an implementation plan and a technical report with identified architecture and solution, the prototype if proposed, a live demonstration, and finally the technical notes on findings.
Thank you very much, Carla. Next topics, it's I guess always up to you, I mean, Knut.
Okay, so we have the topic called demonstration of satellite integration in new radio, and is a topic more related to applications. So this activity aims at performing an over-the-air demonstration of 5G new radio. In particular, it's a demonstration about the feasibility of a low latency service over a transparent satellite. Low latency in the terms of voice or video calls. Then, moreover, we have also the validation of new radio interfaces to evaluate the compatibility of the OAI implementation to different core networks from the OAI implemented one. So the objective are to demonstrate a voice over new radio service performed through a commercial smartphone through a transparent satellite. So the satellite can be or a GEO or a LEO, and this activity will be performed leveraging the 5G GOA and 5G LEO open air interface implementations. Then for the next step of the activity, the objective is to assess and demonstrate the interoperability between the OAI G-Node B and non-OAI core networks, as we were saying. Always starting from the code developed by 5G Goa and 5G Leo. So the activity foresees an over-the-air demonstration and a benchmark to evaluate different core networks, for example, the one from SRS or focus Open 5G core, or for example, a commercial one like the Nokia 5G core. So to conclude, the output and the deliverables will be the implementation plan, the technical description of the demonstration, the prototype, if proposed, a live demonstration, and the technical notes on findings.
Thank you very much, Riccardo. Next demonstration calls is Artura.
So this is the number 8 demonstration topic, and it is on the satellite integration and new radio, and in particular 5G for amateurs. I think that this is a very interesting opportunity because this activity deals with the implementation and test of new radio air interface, exploiting the recently launched Qatar Oscar 100 transparent geo satellite. The satellite has been launched in 2018 on a geostationary orbit at 26-degree longitude beside the commercial TV. It offers free amateur services at 2 different bands, one in S-band and the other one in X-band. And there is also a small differentiation between in between the selection of these 2 bands, because in particular there are 2 band slots. One is smaller and the other one is bigger, but they stand in any case for uplink in both in S-band and for downlink in X-band. So the objective for these topics are again 4, and are related to the testing of open air interface software defined radio E2E over the Oscar satellites. OA no S1 mode can be exploited in this case to perform the test without an effective running 5G core network. The other objective, again concerning the OAI implementation, is related to UE and G-Node B, with a possible setup that could consist in the implementation of one UE with the Goa branch of open air interface running on an SDR plus an antenna, and implementing also the G-Node B with the OAI branch Goa, running the binary with no S1 plus the SDR and the antenna. The other objective could be the real-time validation of open air interface-based implementation of the attach and detach procedure. And finally, also the performance verification and user plane in the connected status mode, testing different modulation tuning scheme of the 5G protocol, or at least the ones available into the open air interface branches, the master one and then the Goa one. As output or deliverables, also in this case, at first is expected to have an implementation plan, then a technical description of the demonstration that the bidders are supposed to prepare, then the implementation of the prototype in case it is proposed, then the live demonstration, and finally the technical notes and documentation on the experimental findings. And I concluded this topic, so maybe we can go to the next one, Alessia. And this is still in our charge, in charge of Rame. And this final topic, number 11, concern the assessment and validation of Open RAN in non-terrestrial network. Open RAN is an architecture that is based on generally speaking, in the increasing of the interoperability and flexibility of RAN equipment by creating like an open standard or standardized interface that allow various equipment from different vendors to work together potentially seamlessly. The objective of this topic is to run the Open RAN 3GPP with standardized U and CU split, functional split, leaving the builders the freedom to choose between almost all the possible type of splits by running it through standardized F1 and E1 interfaces between the U and CU and between the CU UP and the CU CP control plane. Okay, the objectives for this topic are the assessment and demonstration of the usage of such interface that I've just discussed in North Terrestrial Network, considering satellite-specific feature, in particular concerning Argo and Link, the implementation of a GNB DU and GNB CU-UP, GNB control plane through open area interface in a satellite or in an emulated tested scenario, and the verification of the same scenario by running the E1 interface between the GNB CU-UP and the GNB CU-CP, and the O1 verification between the SMO and the GNB CU-UP and the GNB CU-CP. As output deliverables, in this case, once again, we have the beginning and implementation plan, then a prototype in case it is proposed, then the running of the demonstration, and finally the providing of a technical note and documentation on the findings about the experiment. Okay, I concluded the topic description, so I leave the floor back, I don't know, to Alessio, I think.
Thank you, Stefano. We have concluded with the technical presentation, so I leave the floor back to Giulia.
Thank you very much, Alessio, and thank you to all the consortium experts for the explanation of the technical elements of the demonstration call. Before leaving the floor to Frank Zeppenfeld from the European Space Agency, that I see he could join us, and perhaps Frank would like to add something more, I would just recall the audience that in case you would like, you can post question via chat, or you can just demute yourself and ask any technical related question or related to the application process, or any doubt. We are very happy to clarify it. I don't know, Frank, if you are with us and you can. Yes, we can see you. Good afternoon, Frank.
Thanks, Ria. Yeah, good afternoon all. Sorry, I only have now good quality. No, thank you very much from the ESA side for attending this presentation by the consortium. Will not, let's see, repeat the whole framework. I'm sure that has been explained well by the consortium. We just, from our side, wanted to express our interest in seeing some of these demos happening. It's meant to be a bit of a flexible framework to do, yeah, almost quick and dirty technology validations. We are not after paperwork. We're after running code to see things happening and maybe deliver them with minimum documentation overheads, but to see a few things from various projects coming together. That is a bit the intention behind this activity. And from our side, we will do our best to minimize any paperwork that is associated with that. I leave it at that. Giulia, would love to reserve some time, maybe if people have questions or otherwise. Thanks, Giulia.
Thanks to you, Frank. And so floor to the audience, I would say. If you have any question, please, either you can use the chat or you can just demute yourself and jump in with your asking for clarification. Looking whether there's any hand raised. As mentioned, you can find all the 11 technical demonstration call on the website. It's 5ghints.com. You can find also all the link related to the website and the other channel, including YouTube, on the LinkedIn page of the consortium. But this is the right time to ask any question concerning the application process, or in case you would like also to propose any variation to the existing demonstration call, because as Frank mentioned, it's a flexible framework and we would like to accommodate your technology needs as much as possible. It seems that the explanation were pretty exhaustive, I would say. We would still leave further minutes.
Julia, sorry, I take this
Please.
opportunity to ask a question for the consortium. Being a part of the consortium myself, but my question is related to the national delegation words paper. In which way the consortium can support the bidders to provide this kind of documentation? I mean, do you have already templates for the national delegation, or each company coming from several countries provide its own templates, and then the consortium provide the support to fill in this kind of documentation?
So I would say that I don't have a straightforward answer to your question, Gabriele, but I would say that given that there's no existing pre-formatted templates, we could go case by case. Given also the differentiation between delegation, we can just get in contact with the companies and support them in the writing of the letter per se. So in case you will have any kind of doubt regarding, I don't know, the style to use on how to write the delegation letter, please don't hesitate to contact us. You can find the form on the website. You can definitely also use our working emails. You can get in contact with us also via LinkedIn, through the 5G Hints webpage. And yeah.
Okay, that's good. Thank you very much for the explanation.
Maybe, Julia, from the ESA side, we would like to add that let's take an example, if you don't mind. I see people from, let's say, maybe Denmark or Portugal online, and let's just take an example. Somebody wants to bid for this and needs 30,000 euro to execute one of these calls. Let's say in Portugal, of course, there's again a national procedure to go to the Portuguese Space Agency, say, please, I want to participate in this project, and it will be done by a small contract change notice, because we have already a contract in place with the consortium that has just presented, and we are putting, let's say, a 30,000 euro additional activity under it. You probably know that some of these national delegations, they want to be approached, each a bit in their own way. You know, some people, they want to see you, they want to have a quick, they want to have a coffee, basically understand what are you doing, what's in it for Portuguese industry. They are sometimes more concerned about the socio-economic aspects, because they, with all respect, do not always understand the technical part, but they have a different role. So as such, that is something where, at least from the ESA side, if you are proposing there, we could always send an accompanying email to the delegation and say, don't be surprised, there is a 30K request coming to you, but it's fitting in an overall framework. On that, we are very happy to write an accompanying email.
That is awesome to hear. Thank you so much, Frank, for the explanation and for the case speaking. So I would say, wrapping up all the information regarding Gabriele's question. We're very keen to support you in every way we can, and the consortium is really eager to boost, I would say, the use of the 5G NTN technology. I'm looking at the chat and I see the audience are thanking us and looking forward to following the work. So I assume that we will see your application through the website. We do recall you that the was a pleasure, Rafaela. But we do recall that all the 11 application call are open on the website. So as mentioned, in case you have any question related to any element of the call, do not hesitate to get in touch with us. All the consortium will be very happy and eager to provide you with a detailed technical answer. I see that we don't have further questions. So I would leave the floor to you, Gabriele and Alessio, for the final remarks and greetings. And in the meantime, oh, no, sorry, because we have a question from Francesco Zampognaro from Romars. Francesco, if you would like to take the floor by demuting yourself, please go ahead. Or, yeah, sure, you can turn on the microphone.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thanks for the description and your clarifications. I just have one doubt because submitting proposal requires the letter of support, but the letter of support, especially in Italy, it's usually coming very next to the deadline. So I'm afraid that if we ask the support from our national delegation, then we can receive the formal go ahead, but then we will have few days to finalize the technical proposal. So I see kind of a timing conflict. What do you recommend? To submit the technical proposal anyway, even without the letter of support, and then try to get the letter of support and then update the submission? Is that possible?
In this case, I suggest you to send technical proposal to me and Gabriele so we can make a preliminary evaluation. And then when you will receive also the letter of support, you can make the formal submission. Okay, just to avoid that the document will be lost into separate submission. And one suggestion is to try to solicit the national delegation to provide you the answer a little bit before the deadline. Usually the answer requires about 5 weeks. So for example, if you send a letter of support today, you can expect an answer starting from the first days of September. And so I suggest you after about 5-6 weeks to solicit the national delegation.
I see that Francesco in the chat wrote clear thanks. So as Gabriele just mentioned, if you have any kind of, I don't know, hypothesis of delay, you can preliminarily send to Gabriele and Alessio your application for screening. And then we can support you through the delegation process for the letter. I would say that given that we're passing the time of our 1 hour webinar, if you have any further question, please don't hesitate. As mentioned, you can unmute yourself or write in the chat. I think that there are no further questions from the audience. If you would like to ask any question that will come to your mind a bit later, you can email us at info@5ghints.com. And well, I would welcome all the experts of the consortium and also Frank for your explanation and participation. Thank you to the audience for being with us also the second time during the second webinar. And I will greet all of you, and we look forward to your application, and don't hesitate to write us for any further clarification.
Okay, thank you, Julia. Thank you all for joining us with us to the second webinar of the project. And thank you again to all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
See you soon. Bye-bye.